Good morning from Disturbia on the 14th of January 2024. I've come to the conclusion that the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, all of the Air Force, all of the armed forces, so to speak, are or have been organized in order to combat the coming wrath of God. Of course, forces have been created in order to kill, destroy the earth, and to kill animals and mankind. And this is what they call defense. You see, the EL-ites are defending themselves. You have to ask yourself, who is their enemy? If you read Psalm 2, you realize that the kings of the earth have set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and his anointed, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." It just seems like this is the premise for science, which of course in most people's eyes is the ultimate authority. But who is the author of science? Isn't it Satan? With his offer of everlasting life as a God? How is that going to be achieved? Theurgy is the great work, and the great work is evidently masterminding a project that can actually annihilate God with technology. And Satan has been feeding mankind with information throughout the years, throughout the generations, after the flood, because before the flood they came very close, evidently. God cleansed the earth by a flood. And since then, mankind, the wicked, have been researching the mysteries of Atlantis. How to regain that control and preeminence. And it's really astounding the lengths that they've gone and the success that they've had in deceiving mankind, this hidden hand of history. Changing history, changing names, bait and switch, identity theft. But I just found an article called Force Fields Searching for the Ultimate Defense. Defense against what? And this is just unsaid, so to speak. This is not spoken. No one talks about it, but they're the forces that should not be in science. It's the same thing in reality. Are searching for the ultimate defense of their so-called airspace. Satan is the power of the air against the wrath of God. And in this article, which was written in 2022 by Rick Robinson, I'll show you. Force Field, Searching for the Ultimate Defense. In science fiction, they go by a variety of names, shields, screens, and deflectors being among the most popular, while the expression force field is often used to describe the underlying principle rather than the specific defensive installations protecting spaceships, cities, or entire planets of a science fiction story. I always think of May the Force Be With You from that film, Star Wars, back in the day. I never saw the movie, but I know the tagline, May the Force be with you. What is the Force? The forces of evil. God does not use force. God is power. This whole war that's being waged in the seen and the unseen world is amongst powers and principalities and rulers in high places, the same kings and rulers that are mentioned in Psalm number 2. And he's talking about science fiction here, but science is fiction, which they hope to change into reality, change you can believe in. These force fields, it says here, fields all around us. On the level of pure science, the answer is a resounding yes. That they are possible. Not only are force fields possible, but they are actually all around us. Now this has really become more intensified the last couple of years. I believe 2018, the 70th year of Mystery Babylon, was the real unveiling of the global as it is in all its gory glory. Because I remember the year before, in 2017, when they only showed part of the sun. And it was hot, very intense heat. And starting in 2018, you could really feel the effect of the force field, it's disturbing to me because when I talk to people about the sun and the heat, many of them don't feel the pressure of this magnetism. It is so magnetic. It is so debilitating, I find. And the more you know what's going on, the more you feel it. As they say, ignorance is bliss. And this business of outer space and so on, that is all science fiction. There is no such thing as outer space. There is only inner airspace. And this is what the forces are trying to parallel to one another, or should I say simultaneously, defending against God from reality breaking through and him coming in wrath, but also against mankind and nature, killing us. I often think of that song by Roberta Flack, Killing Us Softly, with his song, or Killing Me Softly. I hated it. It was a 70s song, and it was so stupid. And now I realize that it was a chant, and that's why they played it whether it was popular or not. They wanted it to get into your mind, and you can see years later, I remember this song. And I equate it with the kill grid and grill, which is what the video called The Secret Is No One Understands Electricity, and it is only 24 seconds long, where the narrator, Bob Proctor, who calls himself a philosopher, says, you can cook a man's meal with electricity, and you can also cook the man. What is the electric chair? I mean, if you watch, there was a movie, The Green Mile, how men were grilled by this electricity, and we're being grilled by it also. And yet people will say, we can't live without electricity. It can't be done. Do you want to be bombed back into the Stone Age? And yet, considering that civilizations, cultures, societies that did not have electricity were much higher than what we have now. People could actually read and write then. Pick up a book by there's one called Michael Kohlhaas, and I believe they made a movie about it. It's by Heinrich von Kleist. That man could write. I love that story just for the German, just for reading. I mean, it's been translated, I'm sure, into English. Read it. I mean, this is poetry. This is beauty. This man could write, and he wrote a story, and he told a story. And nowadays, you got people who can't write whole sentences, people who abbreviate everything. It's all abbreviations. Maybe because time is so-called moving faster and faster, everything is so-called abbreviated. I don't know. But do we really need electricity? People lived and thrived without it. If they didn't, we wouldn't be here today. And then electricity was invented. Satan gave the information. Just one little bit of information after the other. And then you see all of a sudden these electric poles all over the place, polluting the atmosphere. Electric towers everywhere with these lines, how ugly it is, how monstrous. And yet people say, we can't live without it. And now this idea of clean and green energy being electricity. Wait a minute. Just a couple of years ago, we knew that electricity created electrosmog, which is deadly over time. It changes your blood. It boils the blood. It changes the frequency, the vibration. I mean, this is getting into the esoteric now, which I don't want to do. But it is also a reality. And electricity and magnetic fields and electromagnetism is very, very deadly. And this is just one of the ways that we are being killed slowly but surely. And ostensibly, I think everybody knows this, what they inject into your body communicates with this technology, with magnetism, with electricity, with myriad antennas that they built, and cell phone towers. And on it goes. The wickedness, it's real, it's all around us. If we could see the frequencies, then we might understand it. But why people can't feel them, that's what I always wonder about. I don't think that I'm any more sensitive than anybody else. But you have to be cognizant of what's going on. Not only seeing what you're looking at, but seeing through what you're looking at. That's a quote that I read recently from Manly P. Hall. You've got to be able to not only see, but to see through it. There's always a cover story, and then there's the real story. So, as I was looking up different, you see what actually this whole idea of mine was revolving around what are magnets? What is a magnet actually? Magnets are made from rare earth. What is rare earth? Rare earth is a combination of alloys and of different metals, compounds. And most of the magnets that are made worldwide are made in China, where the most rare earth is. And when I look and I see how they're digging up the earth around where I live, I can't help but think that really the cover story for a building is building housing for all of these people that need it. And yet they're killing two birds with one stone because obviously they're digging up the earth. What are they doing with all this earth? Are they making magnets out of it? Are they growing things in it that should not be grown in it? I often think of Lord of the Rings or that other horrible movie, Pan's Labyrinth, where a little girl was growing a creature under her bed because Pan told her to do so. What is happening here is so diabolical. And yet, business as usual. You go to work, you go to your job, you eat, drink, and be merry. Nothing going on here. Move right along. We're told, again, about this clean and green energy. It's all about electricity. They want electric cars. They want to build more turbines. And you tell people we don't need them. Where is all this need coming from? Recently, a friend told me that in China, they've lifted the ban on having more than one child. And I said, why do you suppose they've done that? Because the population is decreasing. It's not increasing. Well, there's 9 billion people on the earth. I don't believe that. I don't think there are billions of people. I really don't. But I mean, what I believe, as they say in German, Glauben ist Glückssache, Wissen ist Macht. What you believe is lucky, or your luck. But knowledge is power. Well, what is it? The knowledge of the tree of good and evil, or is it understanding that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and to eschew evil is understanding? So I've got a couple more minutes left. And I was talking about this rare earth of the magnets. I don't know what they put in it. I don't know what's in it. I know that near me, where they're building this, all these houses that they want to build, they've only had 4 sales in the last 2 years. They wanted to build 36 houses. The streets are there. The street signs are there. The street lights burn day and night. And they're digging up the earth, and in one place in particular. And I really began thinking, what did they find there? What are they looking for in the earth? Is it bloodshed? Is it blood that has been shed in the earth? Is that what they call rare earth? I don't know. It's just an idea. And I want to move right along here. There are other things going on in the atmosphere. For example, optical vortices are taking place. It's all taking place in the atmosphere. This is how they get the glow ball on it. What I always say, it's not the sun you're looking at. You can tell there's a mirroring effect. You can tell there's lasers being trained on the sun because it is not the sun. There's always an X through the sun here in Disturbia. And then I looked up another idea. It's called relativistic flying laser focus by a laser-produced parabolic plasma mirror. I will show you this. It was written in 2021. I'm going to turn it off because it's hard for me to read through the screen. It says here, the question of electromagnetic field intensification towards the values typical for strong field quantum electrodynamics is of fundamental importance. When you see this word fundamental, they're talking about foundation. And their foundation is a false rock. And a Christian foundation is the Messiah. One of the most promising intensification schemes is based on the relativistic flying mirror concept, which shows that the electromagnetic radiation reflected by the mirror will be frequency upshifted by a factor of 4 wide the power of 2. In laser plasma interactions, such a mirror travels with relativistic velocities through plasma and typically has a parabolic form. Look up parabolic mirror. We're talking about intense heat. I'm coming up to the 21-minute mark, and then this video will be cut off, but I just wanted to encourage you to look up and to realize what is going on in the atmosphere. You've got magnets. You've got optical vortices. You've got physical vortices. You've got electromagnetic fields. You've got flying laser mirrors. You've got microwaves. You've got scalar waves. And probably, ostensibly, in the 76th year of Mystery of Babylon, which is this year, counterfeit Israel, they may intensify the heat even more and more. And what I think is going to happen is there will be probably heat explosions, because I do believe that they're filling the earth now when they're building in different places, especially along the Autobahn and the Autobahn bridges, turnpikes, and other bridges, and even in neighborhood streets. I do believe they're filling them probably with shrapnel and other explosives. And what's going to happen is, in order that people stop driving and that really communication and travel is paralyzed, is they're going to start with detonations. So I'm going to end this here. Thank you for listening. Salvation is only in the Messiah, who is the Creator. Please repent and believe the truth. Amen.